constipation. Oh, what a terrible thing. Hi, I'm Fray, and welcome along. I'm a semi-retired senior midwife and a best-selling maternity author, and we're going to talk about the very shitty problem of constipation in pregnancy. Hi. Hey, so what's the causes? It's a really simple cause, okay, which is a really tricky one to fix, but not really. We'll go through that, but the cause is really simple, and that is that you've got so much progesterone on board, and progesterone is a smooth muscle relaxant hormone, and you've got all this progesterone on board because the womb is made of smooth muscle. So all that progesterone is helping your womb, your uterus, not to prematurely or preterm go into labor. Now, the side effect of all that progesterone that's stopping your womb preterm going into labor and starting to contract, the side effect is that progesterone impacts all the smooth muscle in your body. And where's most of that, all that other smooth muscle? Your GI tract. So, pretty much kind of from your mouth to your anus, there's just a whole lot of smooth muscle. And that's also what your intestines are made up of. So that's the muscle that creates the peristaltic movement, that kind of movement of your intestines moving food along the digestive tract. Okay, so you'll all be familiar with having the runs when you've got diarrhea. So, when you've got a bug in your colon, which is your large intestine, that's the last part of your intestine before the poo enters your rectum and comes out your anus. So when you've got a bug in your system, it will rush the food through, and so the food is not spent very long in the large intestine, and where the small intestine's job is primarily to absorb nutrients, the large intestine, the last part of the journey, its job is to remove water and return that to the body. But when you have a bug in your GI tract, it rushes through the system, so you end up with diarrhea, which is just basically your poo that has not spent enough time in the colon or the large intestine to have its water reabsorbed. Now, constipation is the opposite of that, where basically it's spent way too long in that colon, and it's dry and you've got these hard little pebbles instead of this wonderful defecatable sausage-like poo. You've got these hard little rocks. So that's what's happening, right? So the progesterone causes a reduction of peristaltic movement within the smooth muscle of the intestines, your food, which is a good thing in the small intestines, because you become like a hypernutrient absorber when you're pregnant and when you're breastfeeding. So food is slowed down in that small intestine intentionally, but we don't really want it particularly slowed down in the large intestine where the water gets absorbed, because it removes too much water. So that's why often people will say to you, drinking more water can be helpful. And yeah, it can. So that is one part of the solution. The main cause is the peristaltic movement being slowed down by the progesterone. Well, that's not going to change until after you give birth. So, okay. And then quite often it takes another 3 months or so in the postpartum period to sort of get things back normalized anyway. So it doesn't instantly cure itself oftentimes just because you've given birth. Certainly the third trimester is the worst part for constipation, because now what you've also got is not just what's hormonally going on, but you've also got the just anatomical issues, that you've got a whole big womb full of baby that's pressing on the intestines, and that's just anatomically not helpful, right? Okay, so yeah, you can increase more water, blah blah, yada yada. You know that. Okay, and you can increase more high fiber foods, so things like fruits and vegetables and beans and whole grains. Now, the reason that human beings eat fiber, we get no nutrients from fiber. Obviously, the rest of the food that fiber is contained in can be nutritional, but the fiber itself is we can't digest it. But the reason we eat it is so that it makes our food, it helps our digestion. It makes our poo more defecatable. So we eat fiber purely to have a good shit. And that's what fiber does for us because we don't get nutrients from it. So high fiber foods can help. Yes. You could have, you can get stuff like Metamucil or Citrusel, which are like fiber supplements. You could, where you sort of put a teaspoon of it, mix it with water and scull that. That can help. But what's my all-time favorite? Let me introduce you to LSA. Yay! This wants to become your friend in pregnancy. So LSA stands for linseed, sunflower, and almond. And you buy ground LSA, ground linseed and sunflower and almond, in any health shop, online, a lot of supermarkets, particularly in the health section of supermarkets. What does it look like? Let me open this up and show you. See, it's just a, that's it. So, that's LSA. Now, what do you do with it, right? You want in late pregnancy, or I'd say okay, 1 to 2 tablespoons, all right, is what you need a day. And your body will tell you by the state of your poo, whether you need 1 or 2 or whatever. So I would say if you've really got an issue going on, start with a couple of tablespoons, and you might find that things sort of sort themselves out and you can back it off to 1 tablespoon, or maybe you need 2.5, so it's a trial and error. And so what you do with it is so many ways you can consume it. So you can sprinkle it on toast with your peanut butter. You can add it to a smoothie. You can sprinkle it on a salad. You can add it to a sauce. You could just sprinkle it on top of cauliflower, cheesy cauliflower cheese or something. Like think of it like it's like a consistency of breadcrumbs, but it's tasty. Because it's sunflower, almond, and linseed. It tastes good. So add it to everything and you will probably find it's miraculous. And you might end up being like me, a lady in my 50s, who still takes 1 or 2 teaspoons. I take a heaped teaspoon every day of LSA in my smoothie. So yeah, just do it. It's just good for us. And it just makes the system work well. It tastes good, easy to consume, fit it in. Anyway, so that's it. And hopefully your constipation will disappear, or at least be substantially improved. Okay, so I hope your day's not too shitty, or maybe you want it to be nice and shitty, but you want the right kinds of shits. Sorry. Bye, everyone.